All right. As you can tell, I'm walking to work again. Well, not walking to work, but walking to the bus stop so I can catch the bus to work. I'm in the dark. it's uh, it's like 5:15 or something like that. August 29th. I got the date right because I checked the date before I started talking. August 29th, 2012, 5:15. And I actually calculated exactly the exact cost of going from my house to work and back home again. And because I wanted to see what is the actual cost, or at least let me get something that I could actually look at. I had an empty tank yesterday morning. I put $4 in the tank. And I'm like, okay, I know $4 will get me to work and back. Sure enough, it got me to work and back. But I came back home with an empty tank of gas. Crazy, huh? It was still enough gas to get to the store, still enough gas to, do small errands around my area where I live. But just think that if I had an empty tank leaving home yesterday morning, going to work, and then coming back home, that's $4 a day that I'm spending on gas. And then you got to calculate car maintenance, mileage in the car. It adds up. So what I'm doing now, let's go back. Here's something else you got to look at. If I caught the train from where I live, which is Howard Station in Austin, going to downtown, it is $5.50 for a day pass. If I catch the bus from which is the 1M, if you live in Austin and you ride the bus, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If I catch the bus from where I live and catch it to the train station Kramer, it's $2 a day because the train has tolls. And right after Kramer, there's a toll, and it's $5.50 per day versus $2 per day if I leave from Kramer, which is closer to downtown. So $2 a day versus $4 on gas. Now, here's the difference. I also have to look at driving and stress, rush hour traffic, versus sitting on my ass and relaxing. The only part is that I have to walk and wait at different locations. I catch the bus to the train station, go downtown, then what I have to do is I have to walk from home, walk about, less than a mile to the bus, wait for the bus, and then catch the bus downtown, or catch the bus over to Kramer, walk over to the train station, and then after getting to the train station, then ride the train, get off at downtown, walk about 12 blocks over to where the Whole Foods shuttle is, and the Whole Foods shuttle bus gets me to work by 8 o'clock. Sounds good, right? Now, here's the other caveat. I have to do this. If I was driving, I can leave home, I have to be at work by 8, so I have to leave home at 7 o'clock. It gets me to work by 8. It takes me about 45 minutes to get to work. Taking the train and the bus the way I have to, because there aren't any buses that run anywhere where I work. There are no buses at all. The only way for me to get to work is by driving. But luckily, Whole Foods put up the money to shuttle people from downtown Austin over to where we're at, which is the middle of nowhere, where you need a car. And here's, I'd like to show you guys on a map how I have to do this. It's kind of out of the way I'm doing it when I catch the bus. It is out of the way. So here comes the truck. It's going to get noisy. Okay. So I'm going out of the way. So 7 o'clock versus having to get up and leave the house by 5:15. So I have to get up at 4 in order to catch the bus. If I was driving, I have to get up at 6. So that's a 2-hour difference there. That's the only bad part, really. But once I'm on this bus, I don't have to think about traffic. I don't have to think about wear and tear on my car, my tires, anything like that. Let the bus worry about that. Let the train worry about that. Let the shuttle bus worry about that. The only treads that I'm actually going to be burning is the treads at the bottom of my shoe. Okay? Those treads are going because I'm walking so much. Plus, by me walking to the bus stop and walking throughout downtown gives me the chance to exercise just a little bit. And I'm only spending $2 versus $4 on gas. I swear, Friday morning, when I got paid, I filled up my tank in that car, and my wife has to work too. She works in an area where there are no buses, but she does work a little bit closer than I work. My job is far, it's like 25 miles, I believe. But she works a lot closer, but it's still pretty far. So on Friday, I drove her to her job, had a full tank of gas. Then I drove, wait, stop. She drove herself to work. Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm sorry about that. She drove herself to work, came back home. On Saturday, I drove her to work, brought the car back home, drove again to pick her up, and brought the car back home. I didn't go anywhere that day, so I didn't spend any gas. I just basically took her to work. On Sunday, did the same thing. Drove her to work, came back home. She really doesn't like to drive. I wish she would drive herself sometimes, but and then I drove again, picked her up, drove her back home. All right, on Monday, I have to work, so does she. But because of our schedules, I have to catch a train, so she drove herself to work, and then she came back home, right? I caught the bus and train that day. That was 2 days ago. Now, she's off on Tuesdays. So I decided, you know what, let me just go ahead and drive. And I drove myself to work, came back home, and now I have an empty tank of gas. Ended up spending $4 on gas just to test it out. Said, can I make it to work and back on $4 of gas? Yes, I did. Came back with an empty tank. And I also went to the store, which is like about a mile or two from our house. Empty tank. Amazing, huh?